Haha. Good morning. How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy TKD gonna give you a good podcast show. It's Cross Circle Podcast Show. It's good podcast. Nah, 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 nah. How we doing, y'all? How we doing? Kevin Mack in the chat. What is poppin', my man? How you doing? How you doing, bro? As you know, this is the of course the official pre-show for Cross Circle Podcast. Now, I do have to inform you all. There is some interesting work being done in my apartment as well as in the apartment complex as a whole. So you may hear people going in and out. Disregard it. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? They're just doing their doing their job. So please bear with me in that. Also, if y'all are on Twitter, feel free to also retweet and like the tweet with the Cross Circle episode 47 link. Would love that. Oh, there goes my phone going off. But yeah, we gonna start the show. Pretty pumped. Let me know what you've been playing this weekend, boys and girls. If there's girls here, I don't know. I don't know. But let me know what y'all been playing. I've been playing a few things. Actually, one of them will be one of the headlining topics for today. So I cannot wait to share that with y'all. But I will talk about something. I'll talk about a game I've been playing. I've been playing a game on the, of course, Nintendo Switch. You going to get Black Desert? I'm about to 85%. Black Desert. What have I heard? I've heard of that game. I'm not sure what that game entails. I'm gonna have to go look it up. But I have heard of that game. Can you give me like a brief description of what that game is? You know what I'm saying? But for me, what I've been playing, before I go to bed, you know what I'm saying? I'll be there just chilling after a long days of work, just maxing, relaxing in my bed, you know what I'm saying? And I'll ooh, is that a
Hello.
wild? Is that the boy? Is that big homie Christian?
Hello.
You love to hear it. What's happening? How you doing, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. I was about to give my monologue about a Switch game I've been playing. Stranger Things 3.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not gonna necessarily recommend the game, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, I just at, at times I find it a bit annoying. You know what
Interesting.
I'm saying? But I'm still in it because I just like Stranger Things as a whole. And
Yes.
the writing is pretty much like a lot of it is straight from season 3 and like what they say and everything, like the exact same language and everything.
Okay.
So that I've been enjoying still. And like it's like just a fun, like, beat 'em up. Like the gameplay's aight, but some of what the game has you doing and like just the format they've set it in is a bit annoying, I would say, you know.
Okay.
But yeah,
Uh,
so that's that.
so do you mean like it's repetitive?
Not really repetitive. It's just I don't know. I guess a bit. Yeah, it's a bit repetitive. I'd say it's just like having you go here and then you have to go all the way back this way and like there's no sprint button or or anything or like you can't just fast travel if you're in a particular area. You have to go off of that area and then it'll blow up a mini map where it'll then you have to choose your location. It's just stuff like that. And like the game has you crafting a lot, but crafting tables are in like specific spots of the given map. So if you're not near one, you have to go all the way over there to go craft something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just things like that. It's like little like quality of life things that are not there. You know,
Gotcha.
but that just but it's alright.
Yeah, like I I liked season 3.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Um for the most part, and I was interested in the game, but like I don't know. By the time I finished season 3, I was like done with that story, so
Right.
I couldn't imagine getting even close to the amount of enjoyment I got out of season 3 from playing season 3 in a game like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
If they
then
did some cool like alt version of what could have happened in season 3, I would have been down, I think. But
that I would have loved to see. That
like
would have been
hearing what
way
you're
cooler.
saying, yeah, it's like yeah,
Cause
whatever.
like, you know, and like this really bothered me that like it's literally a retelling of season 3 because that's what they said from the jump about this game. But what happens is like with them doubling down on that decision, there's instances where you can switch your character on the fly to whoever you want, right? And so
Mhm.
they have unique abilities and stuff like that. That's all cool and dandy, but when you're in a specific mission, right,
Right.
that then introduces a dialogue point between two characters, and if you're not playing that character, the character that it's supposed to be narratively just kind of just like it just switches
Shows
to
up.
that one, and so it's jarring. You know what I'm saying? And then like you're like in like you're like I was playing as Hopper, right?
Hmm.
Doing stuff to try and decode the Russian message, and it's like Hopper never did that. You know what I'm saying? So like you run into things like that, whatever. But when it does dialogue, it switches to the character that's supposed to be.
Hmm.
So it's stuff like that. So like I get why obviously that's there. They want to still sell. They want to still tell the story as narratively correct as possible, even though they want to give you also the freedom to be whoever you want in a given time. You feel me? So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, it's alright though. It's alright, but oh, I guess Do we want to talk about the game I specifically beat on the show,
Yeah, we
or
can open with that if you want.
yeah? Because I know we're also opening with the new game that I started.
Right.
You feel me? Like, do you want me to talk about B on the
Oh,
show as well as W or just W?
you can run through Batman quick if you want.
I bet. Played Arkham Asylum.
Hmm.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Very cool.
Very, very nice knit story. I liked it. I didn't
Hmm.
expect to just stay on the asylum, but I liked how it was just on the asylum. I like it. It was, it was,
Yeah.
it was. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really neat. Um,
See, for the longest time, the fact that it is only in the asylum is why I always said it was my favorite because it was just so focused and tight.
yeah.
But um, again, I revisited last fall. It's the combat was less tight than I remember it being, and I think that's because the last time I played Asylum was before I played City and Night. So I was expecting to be using maneuvers and stuff that they introduced in City and that was in Night, but it was absent in Asylum. So that was kind of
Okay.
strange.
I see. Like, definitely, this is of course the oh, excuse me. Quote unquote, Drake's fortune of this series. The first one, whatever. And I feel like when I inevitably go back and play the Uncharted's, I feel like Arkham Asylum will be the better starting point of the series as opposed to like Uncharted. Obviously, different games, different developers, different years. Uncharted was '07. This was '09, I think. 2009, 2008, something
Uh,
like that.
2008, I think.
2008. Okay, so different year, but this definitely feels a lot more of a better first like this makes you want to go play the other ones, like
Mhm.
right now. You know what I'm saying?
I will
But
say to go off your comparison there, I think I think City, sorry, I think Asylum is closer to the level of quality in City and Night than Drake's Fortune is to Among Thieves and Deception.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Like there's a
Like across the
drastic
trilogy, it's much more even than the Uncharted trilogy, in my
100%
opinion.
because like Uncharted One is Uncharted One, but there is a drastic change from Uncharted Two to Uncharted One.
Hmm.
They're completely different games. So at least that's good to hear that I enjoyed Asylum and City and Night are also good, better
Hmm.
of course, but not so much that it makes Asylum look or feel like a bad game because it didn't.
Right, yeah.
Felt good. Like I liked it a lot. Big fan.
Nice. Very cool.
You been playing anything, Christian? Before we roll into the main
Yeah.
rigmarole.
I've put my in-game clock is 10 hours, but
Mm,
I've definitely put closer to 15 because I had to reset progress a couple times.
right.
Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Ooh, I've been hearing about this. I'm hearing about it. How you feel about it?
I love it dearly.
Okay.
I my first Fire Emblem game was Fire Emblem Fates, which was two main game releases ago
Uh huh.
on the 3DS. Liked it a lot. That one gets a lot of hate from the community just because like they made so many weird additions and changes to things.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like, and like I enjoyed that one, but it seems like everybody loves this one,
Okay.
including myself. Huge fan of it so far. I picked the Black Eagles, best house. Um, Highly recommend it, even if you have the slightest of interest in it. If you like Harry Potter, if you like Persona, even if you're not super into strategy games, I think it's a great place to hop in
Yeah.
for strategy games. Actually, I made a video the other day, and it should be posted by now on youtube.com/joyclooks. I go into like super in depth about like the first 10 hours,
Right.
but I really like it a lot.
All right. There we go. Yeah, I know after I beat Stranger Things, my next two games, which I'm probably gonna use that game voucher thing
Smart.
because I think it expires on the 31st or
Yeah,
tomorrow.
so the whatever the last day of the month is the last day you can
Yeah,
buy them.
I gotta
So if
jump
you
on
are
that.
interested in getting any Nintendo games in the next year, I would grab those because I've bought like 3 different voucher sets.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to. Well, I plan on using it for Mario Maker 2 and Ultimate Alliance.
Smart.
Is what my double whammy right now is. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to jump on that and buy that here pretty soon. I'll do
Nice.
that. But yeah. So, I say we roll into the main course.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of Cross Circle, the official podcast for PlayStation Source. I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley. Joining me this week in his new office is Kevin Diaz.
Yes. I moved rooms. I have a very so the biggest reason why this webcam is like this, right? And I don't love it, but I think it's all right. Is that there's mirrors on the closet doors. So I think it would
Gotcha.
have been odd to like have the webcam straight in front of me and like see the back of my head and the monitors. I think it would have been odd. So I don't know if this will stick. I don't know if there's a way I can alleviate the issue, but we're gonna roll with this for right now, and we'll see how it goes. I got a new desk, very nice. It took me full 5 hours to cable manage everything and get everything set up, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, overall very good. I see you rocking the red on red. I like it. I see.
I know. I realized
see
that
it.
I didn't put product in my hair this morning, and I was like, I gotta shoot a show in 2 minutes. I gotta just throw a hat on. Um,
I
Also,
see.
disclaimer.
Ooh.
So here's a little insight into what my life was like this weekend.
Okay.
Um, I'm a fan of Easy Allies. They did a 50-hour beach house stream over the weekend.
Uh huh. 50
Tuned in a
hours.
couple times. Yeah, 50 hours nonstop. They weren't
Wow.
going through shifts,
Very
but
nice.
Friday to Sunday.
Were they like playing games or were they just like hanging out?
Yeah, playing games in a beach
Okay,
house.
cool. Okay, bet. Gotcha.
I tuned in a couple times across different devices, depending on what I was doing. I had it on in the background for a lot of the weekend, but
Right.
when I was using my laptop,
Uh huh.
a couple occasions
Uh oh.
from watching the Twitch stream, my laptop just froze.
Hmm.
And this happened probably like 6 to 7 times throughout the weekend.
Interesting. It just froze?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like it froze. I could like the touchpad wasn't clicking, and it was just like every few minutes, like the speaker was making an audio sound.
Right.
So the reason I'm bringing this up
Okay.
is because I have our live stream pulled up to view the chat and to look at you, so I don't feel like I'm just talking to nobody.
Right.
So if something happens
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, okay. I
The
see what's
show will
happening
go
here.
on.
Okay.
I'll try to reset and hop
Right.
back in.
Okay.
So if something goes wrong, that's the problem. We
Gotcha.
shouldn't have an issue so far. YouTube's been fine for me all day, so we'll see how
Gotcha.
it
Well, my only disclaimer
goes. Hmm.
is that I do have some of the staff from the apartment complex that I work at right now. They are cleaning my room and cleaning the other room for potential people that may move in.
Hmm.
Hopefully, I really hope not. I really hope to God I don't get any other roommates that are randoms. But they're doing some work out there. My AC went out, so they're working on that. So uh, if I had to step away for a moment, it'll be for like 2 seconds. I'll be right back. It's all good. But there we go.
So Kevin,
Yes,
you had a busy week for games over the past 7 days.
I
You
did.
finished Arkham Asylum, which we mentioned in the pre-show,
Mm-hmm.
and
Hated it. Trash game. Complete
well,
garbage.
you might not want to say that about the next thing you're going to talk about.
Oh
uh,
man. Oh
you
man.
started
I did.
Wolfenstein Youngblood,
I did.
and over the course of this here program, we've talked about Wolfenstein before.
Mm-hmm.
You got super into the new Colossus and Wolfenstein 2, which was called
Isn't it the New Order, or am I tripping?
New
Aren't they?
Order.
Isn't New
It's
Order the
spring.
first one and New Colossus the second one, or am I
I
tripping?
think I think you're right. So New Order and New Colossus, you played both. You really dug them, right?
Yep. Definitely like them a lot. I just think like they had a lot of like really good personality in them,
Mhm.
and just the banter was funny, dialogue was funny. I love BJ. BJ's a character. Yeah, it's called the New Order. Was first one, Old Blood, New Colossus, young, and then now
Okay.
Young Blood. Yeah, but I just I just love the Wolfenstein world and like the attitude and like the re-envisioned history of like what could have been if the Nazis won World War II and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I just think it's great, and the gameplay's fun, FPS, story driven, great stuff.
So last weekend we got an expansion to this new era of Wolfenstein with Wolfenstein Youngblood, a standalone. I believe it's $30.
I think it's 40.
40. Okay,
I
so
think it's 40. I believe
a
it's 40.
standalone release following the timeline that we have so far with BJ and the current run of things.
Uh huh.
It takes place in the 80s, and you play
Yes.
as his twin daughters.
Yeah. Either 70s or 80s, but it's in that realm of time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So just the concept alone of the Nazis won and then they took over America and you're playing as his twin daughters in the 80s of that timeline
Yeah.
sounds cool.
Right.
So this tone and this attitude of Wolfenstein that you've talked about so much, does that still feel present? Because I know from what I've read of reviews, from what you've briefly said to me, there's something off about this one. So is the tone what's missing, or is it gameplay?
Yeah, yeah. So I know it's been said in like reviews, and I don't typically go and read reviews before I play a
Mhm.
game and stuff like that. I'll just kind of see the overall like consensus and like the temperature of how people are liking it. And that was a big thing that people were talking about, how like it didn't feel as Wolfensteiny in a tone type of perspective. And like I kind of see that, but I also feel like that's like a bit overblown. I think.
Mhm.
Granted, I want to say I'm like 2 hours in, right? I don't know how long the DLC is, but I'm probably 2.5 3 hours in. Um, but I think the sisters still have that same kind of wit and like funny banter as BJ had, but in like a different obviously context of them being females and twins and sisters and stuff like that. So you get more jokes about them being sisters, and actually more further than that, they're actually twins. Um, uh, and I will say like the surrounding characters, they aren't as interesting yet, and I don't see them getting more interesting as opposed to like Wolfenstein 2, where you like meet this big cast and they're all so much filled with like personality and the way they deliver lines and just and like what they say in general and what they bring to the overall story. It's very clear, and it just ups and ramps up and everything. But with this one, I don't think it will. Obviously, it being a side game, but they do feel like not as interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not as
And
intriguing. Yeah.
you mentioned that you don't have faith that that's going to change. Do you know how long this is supposed to be and like how far in are you? Do you know?
So there's I'm just trying to think. So I think there's 6 main story missions, right?
Okay.
The first 2 kind of set you up. They're very linear. They're like, all right, like here's how you get to Paris, and he's like, here's why you're here, etc. You know, BJ's gone or been taken, or he's like long story short, you're searching for BJ, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so you end up in Europe, in Paris and stuff like that, and then on mission 3 is when it opens up, is where you
Okay.
are is but your main objectives are missions 3, 4, and 5 are to take over like these specific places, right? And within those places, there's side missions that you can use to level up, which I'll talk about in a little bit too, which was not in the other Wolfensteins. So
I
there's
have
yeah,
an hour count if you would like to hear it.
okay, yeah, yeah.
If you
Let
don't
me.
want to, I won't read it to you,
No,
but
no,
for
yeah,
the
do
sake of
it.
conversation.
Yeah, do it, yeah, do
So,
it.
How Long to Beat
Okay.
has it as the main story is 9.5 hours. If
Hmm.
you do the main story and some side stuff, it's about 12 and a half. If you want to 100% it, it's 19 hours.
Okay, yeah. That seems to be right. Yeah. So, just based off like what I'm looking at,
Hmm.
as soon as I got to that point where it kind of like the game opens up and kind of like sets in, instead of like just setting you up, that seems to make sense. Yeah,
Okay.
seems to make sense, right? But I'm trying to say, yeah. So I had to take over 3 different places, and then I believe I have the final thing I have to do. Because I have to do these 3 to get to the end goal, and like I'm just talking vague. I don't want to spoil it in case someone is going to play Youngblood.
Right.
But I think the way I feel about this game, because I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I feel like this game almost feels like it was developed by like the quote unquote B team, and not so much like in its quality in gameplay, because that is still fun.
Hmm.
Like it's still Wolfenstein. You're still gonna have fun with it, but the way they're introducing new things, like this, almost feels like the lost legacy of like this series, where
Okay.
they are trying out, I believe, new things to see how we feel about it for like Wolfenstein 3. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Gosh.
yeah, like there's like health bars in there now. There's a reliance on like mission levels and enemy levels, as opposed to the other 2 games, which were very much kind of just play the mission and you're good. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like very very just on rails linear, as opposed to this where it kind of brings in that like looter shooter type of aspects to it, where um just in terms of the leveling, not so much like you're gonna find like a better gun here and there, stuff like that, and
Yeah.
um yeah, and like the skill tree is pretty straightforward. It seems very very much like a watered down version of like a looter shooter game,
And have
but
you been playing by yourself?
yeah.
Right. Okay.
There,
Because I
yeah.
know you're bringing up looter shooter elements, and I know they're pushing co-op with this, but and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so you're fine on your own.
Yeah. The game does have options if you're like a solo player. It doesn't have another friend to do matchmaking and find someone else to do it with. So
Hmm.
I think I might try that. I might just try it tonight. I just figured I would just play by myself and just run through it with the CPU. But I'll just try it tonight and I'll
Oh,
see how it goes. But
I'm
um,
interested to see how you feel about
yeah,
it at the end of the day as a fan of the series at this point.
yeah. Cause like it's I am definitely still having fun. I'm definitely enjoying the game. It's just very different. Like it feels weird.
Hmm.
But I'm not sure if that weirdness is a good thing, a bad thing, or just them, or it's just a weird thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, like in
I don't know.
context of everything else, is it weird,
Yeah,
or is it just weird because it feels different? Like, yeah, I get what you're saying with it, and
I'm not sure where I'll end up. Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm curious to see what it means for the future of the series too, because I know Wolfenstein 2 didn't sell incredibly well. Um, so if they make more money off of this one, I don't know how that's going to shake out. Like you said, for testing the
yeah,
waters in the future. But I'm curious to see what you have to say when you
right,
beat it.
right,
Do you think
yeah.
you're gonna want to beat it?
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna beat it. Definitely
Yeah.
gonna beat it. Yeah, 100% gonna beat it. Um, well, partially well, not even partially. Like a lot of it is because I think I said this in the past podcast where the premise of this DLC seems very much like the plot of like a hypothetical mainline Wolfenstein. Not that this isn't, but one of the main Wolfenstein games. And if they're and like this plot just seems integral to the main plot of like BJ. You know what I'm saying? And the twins as well. So yeah, we'll see. Wolfenstein so far, I like it.
Nice.
We'll see how we end up, but I think you'll have fun if you try it out.
So before we hop into the main topic, I want to say that I set up my PSVR last week because Kingdom Hearts VR finally got an update.
I saw you tweet
to add
about
the rest
this.
of the content.
Ooh.
You've covered recently on Safe Slot. You did a separate entire video about this, which I appreciated. PlayStation VR, I'm a fan of it. We know this. I've talked it up before.
Absolutely.
I've really tried my best to convey how much I enjoy PlayStation's VR offering.
Right.
The VR headset has been sitting in my closet since I came back from school in late May.
Right.
I haven't set it up yet, and my lord,
Uh-oh.
This was the time that got me.
Oh no.
As far as like, oh man, I'm ready for PSVR 2. Like I will like I will use this thing as a paperweight if it means I can just have wireless VR on PS5.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a bit of an exaggeration because it did like I remembered where things went, but like I plugged something in and it wasn't working the right way first, and I was like, why isn't this working? And it was like, oh, I have to turn the PlayStation on first before I can turn it on through the headset button because I'm setting it up for the first time.
That sounds like such a drag.
I mean, it just confused me because normally at school I have it set up constantly.
Right.
If I want to use it, I just press the little button on the headset, turns everything on.
Yeah.
But I was like, why isn't this working? Is something wrong? That aside, the Kingdom Hearts VR update, underwhelming as hell.
Oh, that's unfortunate to hear.
I mean, I didn't love the first. Well, the first one made me like emotional because it was like, I'm here on the beach from the first game on the PS2. They're playing all the music. They're showing all the cutscenes and fireworks and stuff. It was a cool experience.
Right.
Everything else, they updated with like 6 different areas to go in this time versus the one from launch.
Wait, so like, what are you actually doing in this experience? Like, because I've never seen gameplay of this. Like what's
You're sitting in an environment, listening to some of the music from the game.
Okay.
Having dialogue with some of the characters, living out cutscenes from the game, and then watching pretty much like a Disney park fireworks display with music and lights and cutscenes from the game playing.
Okay, so like it's more of like an experience type deal, like not so much of a game. Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
And I liked that in the first one, but in these, they added like 6, and they launched with 1, so that already made me nervous. Of like, did they take this long to do all 6?
Yeah.
Or did they take this long to just make a bunch of like filler stuff? I feel like it's the second one. Because they all felt shorter. The one that I thought I was gonna be weeping at was like, okay, that was it. Like,
oh man.
so
Yikes. And like you would think, with a diehard Kingdom Hearts fan like yourself, that you would find like any enjoyment in like the littlest of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, as in like,
yeah,
it would take a lot for someone to like impress with that type of thing with someone that has no context, as opposed to someone that does have all of the context that you have, that play all the games, love the series, like, you know what I'm saying, right? But it's interesting that you just didn't even like it per se, with you being like a fan of it.
But like, I'm not gonna revisit it. I watched the first one again at the end, and I was like, oh yeah, this still hits. Like, if I'm gonna go back to experience Kingdom Hearts VR, I'm just gonna watch that first thing.
Right. Okay. I see.
So,
very interesting.
That aside, though, I figure it's time we hop into our main topic of the week. This week, well, let me set it up. Last night, I was just thinking about next gen, like I do sometimes, laying in bed late at night. Like, dang,
staring at
PS5,
staring into the void.
PS5 is gonna be cool. PS5 is gonna have some cool things. There was discussions that happened during the live stream I was watching over the weekend about the future of some series and stuff like that. It got me thinking, was like, what games, like PlayStation could almost have, like, I'm not saying as iconic, but like as wide reaching a library that Nintendo does if they treat things better.
Mm,
Because they have some iconic characters. They
absolutely.
lost most of their cartoony mascots to Activision. Um, they do, while we both love this type of game, they do have a lot of overlap with their third-person, story-based combat games.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think next gen is interesting because this gen we saw some new IP, we saw some new chances on things. We saw Horizon, we saw The Order, which is rumored to be getting a sequel soon.
Yeah.
Um, but we also saw some re-envisioning of classic PlayStation IP. Most notably, we got God of War,
Mm-hmm.
which turned out incredible.
Absolutely.
We got Ratchet and Clank, which I think does not get as much credit as God of War does, but did a great job of bringing an older game in a series up to modern standards. Slightly
Absolutely.
different because that was a full remake. But both of us really like those games, right?
Yep. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. 100%.
I wanted to
I
make sure
do.
you played Ratchet.
I swear.
Um,
I did play Ratchet. I did.
yeah.
Very,
I
very
remember. So I think there's a discussion to be had about what's next. Because
good.
obviously, if we think of PS5 games, we talked about this on our episode talking about launch titles for PS5. There's some already like well duh games that are going to happen. Like we're
Yeah.
going to get a God of War 2, we're going to get a Horizon 2, Order 1887 I would bet on, and Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
All locks
Yep.
for the PS5 life cycle.
Right.
So now that Uncharted's on the back burner, presumably The Last of Us may be as well after Last of Us Part 2. What do you think is going to get elevated, brought back, get the God of War treatment, for lack of a better term,
Right.
next gen to fully flesh out the PS5 library?
So like when you ask that question, right? I think what keeps coming to my mind is some sort of FPS shooter, right? Now, and like these are only coming from, I believe, quotes from Sean Layden. I think is what he said, where like he like still feels that like he like wants to diversify the catalog of games and especially highlight like a multiplayer game. You know what I'm saying? Like they like feel that that's what they've kind of not really pushed the back burner, but kind of just not done a great job at cultivating in terms of PlayStation exclusives, right? So I feel like bring out the biggest shooter, which would be Killzone, I feel, for the PlayStation stuff. But then comes the question of, I think we've had this conversation as well, where it's like, who would develop it? You know, would it be Guerrilla still? Like, would it be their secondary team? Because you gotta imagine Shadowfall was being developed while Horizon Zero Dawn was being made, right? So those two games came out pretty close time, 2013, 2016, 2017.
Horizon was 2017, so it's a 4-year gap.
Yeah. Yeah. So man, that's not even.
I
That close
think
either.
they
Yeah.
I think they bulked up for Horizon,
Right.
so now it's realistic to think that they have two teams. But I think when Shadowfall released, it was probably
It was-
the main effort.
Yeah. Probably the main effort. Yeah.
Like
I feel-
conceptual, because we know Guerrilla like canceled a few games before
Mhm.
Horizon, so conceptually it was probably in development
Yeah.
to some extent. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I just don't know if it's a wise decision
Mhm.
to leave Killzone kind of to like the forgotten section of PlayStation catalog. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that's or if it just is because it never really was even that big. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like
So-
I don't know which one is more true.
I mean, the thing with me with Killzone, and I think with a lot of people, is that it's not Halo. You know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I know they're not going for that, but they totally are.
But
Like, think of it this way. PS3 gen, Killzone 3 was supposed to be a big deal. That's the only Killzone game I ever had experience with.
Right.
I remember there was a beta. I tried it out. I was like, hey, this is cool. I tried to sell my friends that had PS3s. They're like, oh, we don't care.
Right.
We have Black Ops. And I was like, clearly the superior game here. But I thought Killzone would be cool. Played the beta. And my biggest thing was like, it's like not sci-fi enough to be different than a Call of Duty, but it doesn't feel as good as a Call of Duty. And it was like, why bother? Was the whole thing that was my deal. Like,
Right.
Halo's unique because Halo has a look. Halo has a universe that feels realized and feels deep and has interesting design choices.
Right.
And I think a lot of what I just said can be found in another Guerrilla game, Horizon. But Killzone just felt so bland to me
Yeah.
that I feel like if it did come back, and again, getting the God of War treatment, if they wanted to reinvigorate it, give it a new perspective, give it a new look, I think you could have something there. But I do think they would need to either make a choice of, is this a modern combat game or a sci-fi combat game? I don't think they
Right.
can like
Keep
toe
kind
the
of
line
blurring the
anymore.
lines. Yeah, kind of having a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Right. I feel you. Now, Kevin Matt brings up in the chat something that I should have said beforehand. Phone, what are you doing? Resistance is
Resistance
a
is an interesting one.
that one is an interest. Yeah, that one's What do you think? What are your thoughts on Resistance?
So again, similar to Killzone, I don't have experience of Resistance,
Mm.
despite my great love for Insomniac.
Mm.
That is the only franchise of theirs I have not tried out.
Right.
Um, Resistance, I think, is already inherently more interesting than Killzone because you have the alt history sort of thing where it's like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it takes place around World War II, doesn't it?
Yeah,
One of
yeah.
those?
It's like 1950s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have that look that we're so familiar with, and then you're just throwing aliens into it,
Right.
which I think is like, yes, this is unique. This is distinct. This is something they could flesh out and build an entire, similar to Wolfenstein, alternate history sort of timeline around. I think Insomniac is far too busy to be concerned with the Resistance right now, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Personally.
exactly. No, that's
So
the
again,
biggest thing. Yeah.
who would do it?
Right.
Which I definitely think there's people that could,
Oh
you
yeah.
know? But I think
Absolutely.
you need a strong creative vision there.
And then to kind of end the shooter section, there are rumors of a SOCOM being made,
Yes.
and maybe that's. I think that one probably has the likeliest chance of being like the the one to get the God of War effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I
Yeah.
think SOCOM, as far as multiplayer goes, I think SOCOM is the thing.
Yeah.
Because just look at the Division,
I
look
think
at Ghost Recon, look at
dude,
the appeal and how well those games sell.
that'd be huge.
Exactly. Like you get a
Huge.
4-person squad-based
Let's
military
go.
shooter game exclusive on PlayStation. And I'm not familiar with the running lore of SOCOM, if there is a running lore.
Is there a lore? I don't know.
I don't know. Is there like a SOCOM guy?
I would like the style of like the Battlefront stories I do right now, the like vignettes. Like give me like really cool, maybe like 8, 10 chapter like just missions that tell their own story. You know? I think that'd be cool. I don't know.
I think if PlayStation tries to corner a game like that, I do think. Sorry, if they try to corner a multiplayer based game, I think it's going to be more likely something along those lines than a first person shooter at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if they still have the COD partnership and the Destiny partnership leading into next gen.
Right. Right, I see.
So,
I see.
one thing that I think could benefit extremely well from a story perspective and from the standpoint of comparing the character arc of Kratos and the history of God of War, which could very literally follow the same template of God of War 2018, is Infamous.
Christian,
Yes.
thank you.
So I have a pitch that I thought of, and I was like, this is too good. I got to make an entire thing
All
about
right,
this.
here we go. Are we about to
So-
lay down Infamous New Dawn? Let's go.
So first off, I was just gonna say something before we hopped into it. So here we have another example, I guess, of like not the Last of Us, God of War, Days Gone sort of vibe, but more along the lines of like a Spider-Man or Horizon sort of thing, where it's an open world RPG, um, versus like the over-the-shoulder story-based sort of thing. Infamous, I think, could fill that void of like a more independent sort of open world that's not solely tied down to the Marvel IP or Horizon with its setting. I think Infamous you could have a lot of fun with,
Mm-hmm.
and I think from a story perspective, it takes place after the three Infamous games we have now.
Okay.
The reveal
Okay.
event at E3 2020. We got some dork, all right,
All
some
right.
punk kid
Okay. I like it.
holding up a like a mother or something and her child in the
Okay.
streets of Empire City.
Okay.
And then he's like threatening her, revealed he has powers. It's like, oh, okay, doing something here.
Okay.
This powers this world.
Okay. Okay.
And then we see like a couple other things like establishing the city Cyberpunk 2077 style, right?
Right.
But we keep coming back to this kid who's like robbing this mother and her child.
Right.
And as we go through all these reveals, we see that people have powers. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
People in this world have superpowers.
Like, oh, okay, so that would show a girl from like Second Son with like DUP and stuff like that, and like them trying to. Yeah, okay, I like this. I like this.
Like, it's canon that I forget which ending. I think it was I forget which ending.
For Infamous 2, it's the good ending. That
Is the one that people.
That's canon. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and is that the one where people have powers?
Yes.
Okay. So whatever ending
yes.
it is,
Yes. That one. Yes. Yes, it is. It is.
powers exist in this world, right?
Right.
So we reach the sort of climax. He's like holding her against like a wall or something. He's got like energy beams in one hand. He's like, "Give me your money" or something like that.
Right.
Shadow drops down behind him. We see hands go over his face, lightning through his entire body. His face melts, and we get an old Cole McGrath.
I would also Kessler.
No,
Or before Kessler. Like
kind of, because you get into weird timeline things. This isn't what I want to do. This isn't what I want to do.
No, I know. I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying, yeah.
You get like 50-year-old Cole McGrath,
I'd be, dude.
like brutal, kills this like teenager who's being a punk, right?
Right.
Gives the purse back, lady walks away. Cole McGrath survived the events of Infamous 2. Are you familiar with the events of The Dark Knight Returns?
Not off the top of my head.
Miller?
Not off the top of my head, but I am aware of the lightning strike at the end of Infamous 2. That hypothetically could have revived him, but whatever. Go ahead.
So in The Dark Knight Returns, it's an old Batman that comes out of retirement to just clean up the city because it's full of scum and gangs and everything. Powers are running wild. Cole's been in retirement for too long. He realizes, he's like, hey, I'm a big part of why this happened. I gotta clean it up. Infamous 3, Old Man Cole in Empire City again, cleaning up all of these punk superhero gangs. I feel like you could do something cool there.
And then like the like overall not like overall theme, but like kind of like the message, you know, could be like, who's a true hero? You know what I'm saying? Because like all these wannabes, you know, these punks trying to steal PSN codes, you know, trying to steal giveaways. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, gotta make.
So I think you do something cool to tie it in with Second Son as well, and I'll let you get your thought in. If you have Cole in the Kratos role, where Cole is like grizzled, he's tired of it, he's like, I messed up, and he's more gray area than good or bad specifically.
Right.
You bring in Delsin, and then you get the partnership of Cole and Delsin working together, and it's like Delsin is like the hope here, and for the sake of it all, you have like a darker Cole, and then good ending Delsin teaming up, and it's like a passing the torch sort of thing. It ties everything together nicely, and you get a finale for Cole.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Hopefully Zeke makes an
yeah,
appearance, something
I
like that.
think you could do a lot of stuff because Infamous has a world that's fleshed out
Yeah,
that wasn't fully like they didn't do enough with it. But I think
absolutely. But there's a lot
combining
of
both
potential. Yeah.
storylines, there's a lot of potential there.
What's your name? Fetch.
Yeah, Fetch you could throw in
Fetch.
there too.
Fetch. Throw in there. Yeah.
Mhm.
And like what they could do like ability wise. Yeah, I like, legit one of the saddest things to think about is that Infamous is like on ice right now, or
Yeah.
I don't know what it is right now. You know, because I love those games. I
hmm
love them to death. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
This this was also inspired by I haven't watched it yet, but The Boys, that Amazon show about like corrupt superheroes.
I just heard about that. I just heard about it. It sounds good. Should I watch it?
Yeah.
Should I
I
watch
don't know.
it?
I'm gonna check it out. I think because I'm a fan of superheroes. So if you do
Yeah.
something unique with it, I think I'll check it out. But you could also do something that, like maybe he's not going after kids or anything, but he's going after superheroes that are like abusing their power
Yeah. Yeah.
and just hunting down people like that. I think that a Redemption Dark Knight Returns inspired Infamous game with a Cole that was just in hiding for like 20 years after 2.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of potential there and could parallel God of War the way we got the sequel reboot, I guess.
It really could. It really could.
Yeah.
It really could. They've established that like, you know, the powers can vary a lot. Like it would be neon, video was one of the powers in Second Son. Like very you know like super cool stuff. Like they could do for sure. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. Anything Infamous I like. What about Jack and Daxter?
Jack and
We have
Daxter,
we have Obese Grad in the chat wanting a Jack and Daxter remake. Or
I think
like I guess we'll call this one more like the Ratchet and Clank type deal.
yeah.
You know.
So I see two paths for Jack and Daxter.
Mm.
One path is the Ratchet and Clank thing that you just brought up,
Yep.
where if they did remake one, I would want them to remake the first one because I think the first one is just such a cool thing for its time period, and it's a rare game that to exist now, where it's like a character-based platformer where you're collecting things.
Yeah.
Where 2 and 3 are pretty much GTA clones, which have their merit, but the first one's the most unique out of those three. So giving it the Ratchet treatment would be fun, would be welcome for me. But what I think, keeping in line with uh, this revisiting the past sort of thing that God of War did.
Old man Jack.
No. So we get done with Last of Us, right? Last of Us Part 2.
Absolutely. It's flops. 0 out of 10.
No. Uncharted, again, pretty much halted for now unless something happens with that studio that you think
Yeah.
is making Uncharted games.
I'm convinced they are, but go ahead.
I think you give Naughty Dog the chance to just run wild. Similar to how God of War 2018 was such like pick up this Kratos we know, put him in Norse mythology, and just adapt to make a new identity for the franchise. I think you give the reins back to Naughty Dog. And I think they would probably be interested in this because we know they were making Jack 4 before they made The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And they just said, oh, it was too different that we decided to do something else. I think seeing that God of War worked, taking an established character with Kratos from those games that were very different from modern God of War, and then reinventing it, giving it a new form and identity. I think seeing that worked with a beloved PlayStation character and how many fans there are of Jack and Daxter more than people realize, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think you could do something very cool there where the trilogy ends in a point that's pretty like conclusive
Mm-hmm.
as far as like what that story was about, but take Jack and Daxter and like whoever else from the surrounding cast from the end of Jack 3. Give it a visual overhaul. You can make it more realistic if you want, but make it focus like similar to a Tomb Raider or an Uncharted, where it's like ancient civilizations. Put them somewhere they haven't been in that trilogy,
Right.
and have Naughty Dog just run wild with making a new mythos, a new mythology, and pretty much just doing like a steampunk fantasy game.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I
What do you
just
think about that?
no. I mean, I like it. I just don't know if Naughty Dog at this point, while at one point in their history they did try to make a Jack 4, but like, would they still be down to do it? You know,
Yeah.
or like, would they want? Because there's rumors. Well, just like a rumor. You know, just like, or I don't know if this is like a rumor really that's set in anything factual, or if it's just something that the fans want. Is the Savage Starlight comics that are in the Last of Us world? Have you heard about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember there were rumors a while ago that it was like, oh, Naughty Dog is working on a sci-fi game.
Oh, and they casted a gentleman, the Captain Hammer, not casted him, but like they want someone that looks like him. Uh, huh. So that's what like I think they'd be doing after part two. You know, but then that comes the question of like, are they gonna make Last of Us a trilogy?
Yeah, and
And yeah, like that could
I
still
think that is
be
a very good discussion to have with the Starks for Road to Part 2.
absolutely 100%, absolutely.
What I think about for Naughty Dog, though, is I'm sure they have ideas for other things they want to do and they don't want to be tied down to franchises.
Yeah.
But with what leftovers there are from people there that worked on Jak and Daxter, and the main motivating factor we always heard for their reasoning of not doing Jak 4 was that it felt too different, I think seeing how successful God of War was might make them want to revisit that idea.
Ah, I see what you mean. Right, right.
Yeah.
That like, even though it is different, like the
Like,
the
you
like
can still
fans
tie
could
it.
yeah, like tie it
Yeah.
like tie it, and the fans could appreciate it
Yeah.
still, even though it's not what it was before. You know.
Yeah, because I
100%,
would
yeah.
even argue that like God of War 1 through 3, they're kind of cartoony in their designs.
Right. Yeah. 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 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
And then not to the extent of Jak and Daxter obviously, but like it's basically like a comic book cartoony art style, art direction. God of War 2018 is going for realism, but like fantasy realism, so it's a different art direction, but it still feels similar.
Yeah.
I think you could definitely take risks and still make them feel the way they should.
Right.
So
Right.
if that was the thing that was pulling them back, I think they're more inclined to try again now than
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah. I see. I see what you're saying. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm trying to think of others, because I feel
I
like
have another.
yeah. What do you got?
So I think that yeah, for like fleshing out the library, what we were talking about, we've covered shooters. I don't want to cover racing games.
Ridge
'cause, like,
Racer needs to come back. Well, go ahead. I mean,
Uh,
Wipeout does though. That's facts.
Wipeout for sure. I'd
Wipeout
love
is
to see
fire.
Wipeout come back,
Mm.
but I think it's harder to reinvent Wipeout.
That's yeah, exactly. Yeah, like because Wipeout is just Wipeout. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you on that. I feel you.
So like, I don't think it would be dumb to pursue like a cartoony mascot again,
Right.
but they have Knack for that right now.
Yeah, that's what I was about. Yeah. Yeah,
And like the Knack games sell well, and I'm not saying they should do that to Knack. I'm saying that Knack fills that void where the characters that they did have of Spyro and Crash
right.
are present again, but they wouldn't have the ability to pursue a reboot reimagining of those games, and they don't need to for Knack
Right.
because it's fine the way it is. So I don't want to cover 3D platformers either. But what I do think they should look into again is their PS3 library. Because the PS3, I think, had a lot of cool ideas that never really fully got capitalized on, you know? Like, there were some experiments of franchises that, like, didn't really go anywhere. There were some attempts at things. There were some attempts to, like, carry on older things, similar to what we're talking about here. But I think for PS3, it would be worth trying to go after a stealth game.
A stealth game from the PS3.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular? Because I'm trying to think of a PS3 IP that we haven't talked about yet that I want to be continued or like can see be continued, but I'm having a
Yeah.
hard time thinking of one from the
Like,
PS3 at least.
the thing with PS3 is like the main stealth game would have been Metal Gear,
Right.
but again, that's out of PlayStation's control at this point. Um,
Was
and then
Agent supposed to be a stealth game?
Agent was supposed to be
It,
about spies,
oh,
so potentially.
yeah.
Um, Agent is a good choice though. I'd love to see that come back too. But what I think could be something that could like work well if they did get Metal Gear in some capacity.
Like maybe they cut a deal and have like a standalone not mainline Metal Gear if they're gonna if they're gonna keep doing the Metal Gear series, but like they have a side Metal Gear similar to like Metal Gear Survive, hopefully not in
Yeah,
quality, but in like that type of conjunction, that type of game in terms of the whole Metal Gear franchise. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
and
that could be interesting.
it's hard because like a lot of stealth games are third party games. If you try
Yeah.
to think about it, like Splinter Cell, Assassin's Creed, not so much anymore, but at a point they were.
Dishonored. Yeah.
Yeah, Dishonored. Metal Gear at this point
Yeah.
is a third party game. Death Stranding could potentially be stealth, but he's not marketing it as stealth.
It's a Strand game.
Exactly.
Strand. Whatever.
Uh,
I still don't know what that means, but I like the way it
so
sounds. I like the way it sounds.
yeah, I think that there should definitely be some way to revisit stealth. Like
Right.
Sly Cooper is one that made me
Psycho was interesting.
think of it, and like we talked Jack, we talked about Ratchet. Sly got a fourth game from a different publisher or developer. I'm sorry, but nothing. It didn't go anywhere after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know again if they would want to re-envision it crazy because like it's a cartoon raccoon and a hippo and a turtle. Like there's only so much you can go with that design wise.
It's so funny how like we kind of just accept Sly Cooper, but then when you really break it down, it's like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dude, Sly's fun. I love
no,
that
no,
trilogy.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Just like what the hell's up, you know?
It's strange because like I think there's a conversation to be had, and we don't have to have it now, but like PlayStation really, in an effort to go after like hardcore bro gamers, really abandoned some of their iconic characters.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like there's an absence there now, which is kind of holding them back in some areas, but like allowing other developers to come in and make their new visions of things, which are great. It's something that I think about sometimes.
Do you think Little Big Planet has some sort of avenue in terms of like maybe VR? Like maybe what if they did like well, not even like a Moss type style of game, but with Sackboy, in the Little Big Planet world, and maybe like they could still implement that creativity of making levels and stuff like that. Maybe maybe it is just like a Little Big Planet game, but adding the VR mechanic. Like maybe like you have to go and like maybe help like lift something over here on this end so that you can take Sackboy to that place, or like maybe they add that layer of depth to Little Big Planet, perhaps.
See, with that,
Just a thought. I don't know.
I would play that,
Right.
but if that were to happen at this point, it would happen in dreams.
You have a solid point. Yeah.
And I just remembered, gotta be
That-
honest with you, Kevin,
What's
I
up?
was trying to stall because I forgot what I was thinking of earlier.
Ah.
I hope it made for good radio,
There
but
we go.
I just remembered the one that I think could 1,000,000% benefit from a reboot like this.
Okay. Okay.
And would be sick.
Okay.
And I think it's like they gotta nail the tone with this one. Okay.
All right.
It can't be annoying. It can't be like Borderlandsy.
Oh
It has
my!
to be
Here
like
we go.
it has to be sharp. it has to be funny, and it has to be self-aware. All of those things Borderlands is not. Um,
I'm really hurt by the consistent Borderlands slander in this community. I'll tell you what.
I think that they should reinvent, give it the like a big effort here. Okay,
Okay. We're talking like big
like
budget, like
completely like
blank checks.
make this thing like a franchise that's like multimedia.
Okay. Damn.
Twisted Metal.
I was about to fucking say that. God damn it. Because we have the show
Yeah, exactly.
being made. So I feel like that's an indicator that, all right, like, Twisted Metal is getting some sort of revival, some sort of capacity. I don't see them just doing a show and that's it. Or maybe they have the show just to gauge interest, which is a possibility. But
here's my pitch. I'm not, again, I know Twisted Metal has a lore. Like, there is a continuity to that series.
right.
The only character, I know the name Calypso, and he's the guy who runs the tournament or whatever. And I know Sweet Tooth.
Who's the clown guy?
Sweet Tooth.
Okay, cool.
I think you could, I don't know who you'd focus it on. Maybe focus it on an original character and like, he's buddies with Sweet Tooth, and Sweet Tooth is like the Kratos to this effort. I think you can make a really cool game that's focused on multiplayer, has different gameplay styles depending on which character you're playing as, because there is an ensemble to Twisted Metal of like Sweet Tooth, and then there's this like private schoolgirl, and then there's this like barber or something. I don't know.
Right.
Like, you have really weird characters, but like ground it in a way that makes it self-aware, but also makes playing as each character fun. So like, I'm saying, don't just make it a car combat game.
Right.
Like,
I see.
Have that be the main thing.
Yeah.
But tie it to characters that we care about.
Right. I see. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So like, maybe like the night before the big tournament, you have a mission where you play Sweet Tooth, and he has to like, I don't know, is he an assassin or something? I don't know. He's chainsaw.
Let's
like,
make him an assassin. Why not?
Yeah. Be like, okay, there's this guy that owes Calypso money. Hunt him down, and I won't like kill you tomorrow.
Hunt him down.
Play a Sweet Tooth, hop in your ice cream machine. Get him with the ice cream machine, then just chainsaw him. Like, I think there's opportunities to flesh out Twisted Metal to be something that's like ensemble character based, not just car combat.
Absolutely. I just like the phrase hunt him down, or I won't kill you tomorrow. I want that specifically in the reboot. Now wait, there was one I thought of. Dang it, Kevin, why did you forget about it? Oh, alright. I know this is some would say a meme at this point, right? But I truly believe that this game has the potential to be good if given a, like what you said, high budget, reboot, high effort, bring in everyone, you know what I'm saying? And possibly a name change, but PlayStation All-Stars Battle. No, but listen, hold on. Like, legitimately, they have introduced a lot of new characters in this PlayStation 4 era that I think would be dope to see all together in a fighting game. Like, no cap. Aloy, Spider-Man PS4. Wait, would they be allowed to use Spider-Man? Don't know? Not sure.
I think they could. It would just kind of be weird.
I think they could, right? It would be odd, but I think, right? I feel like what? Like, as long as maybe he's in his advanced suit, he that would fly. I don't know. That old man Kratos, fighting young Kratos, Delson, Fetch, Bloodborne guy, Knack, throw him in there.
Kevin,
yes.
How would you feel if I told you that this weekend at EVO, the fighting game tournament, PlayStation has an announcement to make?
Get the fuck out. Stop.
They have an announcement ready for EVO.
Wait. Where is the fucking link? Are you kidding me?
Google this. This is real. PlayStation has an announcement at EVO.
I am gonna lose it. They're sponsoring Evo 2019.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
This
there's
is
a few things that could happen there.
interesting. This is quite interesting.
Capcom made it clear though that there's no Street Fighter 6, so that's not what it's gonna be.
Okay.
Because we know that there's that partnership with PlayStation for
Right.
Street Fighter 5.
Right.
Now, while I don't think it's a PlayStation All Stars game, I do think that there is potential to have a PlayStation crossover game series. But I think they either have to make it a Smash clone or do something completely different.
I know it's been said that, like, wait, what if they did like a For Honor type style?
So here's what my pitch is.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I just stole your fucking thunder.
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay.
My pitch is make it a literal battle royale.
They're like, listen, guys, we know the name doesn't make sense, but
Yeah.
we're going to make it make sense now. Okay. We're going to make it make sense.
Exactly. And just think about it first. How many characters do they have that shoot things? A lot.
Quite a few. Absolutely. You're right.
So I think you make it like a 50-player battle royale, right?
Dude, damn, can they make... I guess they can do 50 characters. I'm sure they can figure it out.
But what I'm saying is, like, you have like your Joel and your Ellie and your Aloy and your Drake, but you also have Parappa. And like
That would be fucking
Knack.
hilarious. That would be actually hilarious. They get... See, like, a winner or a chicken dinner come on, it's Knack out here just winning it all.
yes,
Sack boy out here.
I think it could work, but it would be completely reliant on the characters being like unbalanced. So like, if you're Knack, you can like grow, but like
Right.
you can't use guns.
Right. Okay. What about Sackboy? What's he gonna do? What does he have?
You can create.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so like he can like get on like high like elevations.
Yeah,
This
maybe
is-
like
Can we
like-
can we do a podcast where we just lay out the entire plan for the true battle royale to beat them all? Fortnite.
If people would-
fuck it. Apex.
if people would
they're
be
gonna die.
interested by that, I am down to plan out the PlayStation
I will-
All Stars Battle
Bro,
Royale.
I will buy a
Battle Royale
whiteboard.
game.
I will buy a whiteboard and get to work.
Okay.
I'll be out here with the pictures and the pins and the strings. I'm ready to go. But yep. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I definitely think it could work, but it would be like, you know how Smash is like so dedicated to making people feel like they're the character.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do that, but make the objective last man standing in a
That
3D
would be
environment.
so interesting. That'd be quite interesting. Like okay, let's say right, hypothetically speaking here, right, Evo 2019 is going down, and they literally just like rip this podcast, make listen to me guys. Look, look here, look, listen. I know the name PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale didn't quite make sense the time it came out, but we're gonna make it make sense. And they literally unveil a free-to-play PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale and call it like, I don't know. What would you even call it?
You would call it PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale,
just.
and you would do everything in your power to make sure that that original game does not get sold anymore. Like, delete it off the face of the internet, delist it.
I want to say there is a little static coming from your microphone, Christian.
Okay,
I
I'm
will
getting
be
too
those-
excited.
No, I mean like every time you speak. I'm not sure if it's a me thing. Maybe perhaps I'm the one hearing it. But when you talked for the last like 30 seconds, it was. I'm not sure if maybe
Okay.
unplugging it and plugging it back in might be a good thing. But while you're doing that, I was thinking it would be pretty cool to do like a For Honor type style of fighting game. You know, and like double down on like having very intricate combos and techniques with different characters in the PlayStation, IP rollout. I think that'd be really cool. Like having like Aloy use like some of like your bow mechanics. Maybe one of her like finishers could be like summon one of the one of the creatures, the robots, if you will, in Horizon, or uh, essentially do like God of War 2018, copy paste all like the combat and just put them right there. I think that could be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of potential for PlayStation to reach back and try and reinvent things
Right.
to really sell the PS5, because we've had this conversation before in the podcast, and a lot of people have this sentiment that next gen, I think, is entirely reliant on the software.
Mm-hmm.
And they already have a good start, because like we have known quantities where Xbox is kind of like, yeah, we know you have studios, but like nothing to show yet.
Very true.
PlayStation's like, we at the top of the show we listed like 5 games we know are coming within the first like 2 years of PS5.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they really want to like really get far ahead, I think bringing back classic IP, giving it that God of War spin, I think there's a lot of potential there, and there's probably hundreds of things that we don't have familiarity with that they could easily bring back and have the success with. But it's definitely a fun thing to think about, and I'm looking forward to see what happens with familiar IP as we move into the next gen.
Why do I like the Battle Royale idea more and more I think about it? I really do kind of like it. Like, to be honest, I would play that. Oh, 100%.
We can save it for another episode, but like I think this is the last thing I'll say on it. I can't decide if it would be better if it was like completely unbalanced and you'd have to be randomized every match.
Right.
But then you get people like, oh, I got knack.
Yeah.
Leave. Or you get that Smash Bros. Treatment with the character select. It's like you pick where you spawn, stuff like that. So, but
we'll see.
I think we've gone to a point of no return. We can't top that.
No.
So that may be the end of the episode.
There is no topping the hypothetical literal Battle Royale.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end game.
Guys, check out the announcement for Evo. Wait, when is it going down? Completely not topic based, but when is it? August 2nd through it's this weekend. Holy shit.
Yes.
Holy shit.
So if there's an announcement, I bet it's the last day.
Right.
Or maybe opening ceremony. I don't know. I usually watch Evo, but I just watch it for the actual fighting games, not for the announcements.
Right. So. We'll see. But Christian, it's been an absolute great episode with you.
Yeah.
Always is. Where can people find you beyond this podcast?
If you want, you can follow me on Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. I have been tweeting about my Fire Emblem experience. I have been talking about how The Dark Knight Rises doesn't hold up, even though I haven't watched it in 10 years. That's even possible. And if you're interested in seeing more beyond what I said in the pre-show about Fire Emblem, by the time you're listening to this, regardless, it should be live. youtube.com/joyclicks. 10-hour impressions on Fire Emblem Three Houses. Enjoying it. So
beautiful.
What about you, Kevin?
You all can follow me at the KDS123. Follow me down there on Twitter, lower third. Link in. Wait, no, it's not. At the KDS123. Follow me on there. Lately, what I've been tweeting. I don't know, you know what I've been tweeting about. I don't know. Music stuff, as usual. Wolfenstein. I'm sure you'll get my full thoughts and impressions on Twitter. Maybe Stranger Things. I might beat that. I don't know. Also, Stranger Things feels long. I know it's not a long game, but it definitely does feel like it's dragging. I didn't mention that, but it feels like a long thing to get through. But it's not really that long. But whatever. So yeah, I may start Arkham City this week, and by may I mean most likely, because it's like while Wolfenstein has been fun, right? I am like, dude, I want to experience Arkham City. Like, I really want to play Batman again. You know what I'm saying? So I might be jumping into Arkham City. Now, before we go, I do have a question.
Sure.
I would like to bring you. Oh, wait, no. It's already been answered. Never mind. Because I was under the impression, very briefly, that I thought, for some reason, that Origins came out after Night, which is indeed not true. So I'm going to Asylum City, Origins, and then Night.
Right. And
Cool. All right, cool.
just so you know, I'm sure you know this. Origins wasn't Rocksteady.
Yep.
Different cast,
Mhm.
same continuity, but they really never address it.
Wait, it's not Mark Hamill if he's in that game. It's not the that is interest. I did not know that about that game.
You get Roger Craig Smith playing Batman instead of Kevin Conroy,
Okay.
and you get Troy Baker as the Joker.
Quite interesting. That is very interesting. All right.
And
So
I've never played Origins,
right.
so
Okay. I guess we will see how that compares. We'll see. We'll see. Looks like we got
So-
George Sears in the chat enjoying Arkham Origins. Definitely liked it.
I've wanted to play it forever, so I will eventually.
I'll
But,
let you know how I like it. I'll let you know.
nice.
But
All right.
there we go, ladies and gentlemen.
That's going to do it. And in the description, you can find links to our Discord if you want to chat with us during the week while we're not live on Mondays. Podcast services as well.
Yep.
PlayStation Source. You can find audio versions of this here show and Road to Part 2, a weekly Last of Us discussion with Kevin and the Starks. If that sounds interesting, links are in the description. But until next time, as always,
Greatness awaits.
see ya.
Cheer.